Good day and welcome to today's Conversation podcast. Today I'm privileged to speak matters of the law. I have as a special guest a renowned Lusaka lawyer. You probably watch him on TV or hear him on radio when he's giving comments and opinions on the governance of our country. I have Mr. Jonas Zimba from Makebi Zulu Advocates. Mr. Zimba, good day and welcome to today's Conversation podcast.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Who is Jonas Zimba? People just read about you, see you make presentation or defend your clients, or they hear you on radio discussing governance issues. Just tell us about who is Jonas Zimba.
So, first things first, I'm basically just a citizen of Zambia. And I was born in Impika, in the northern part of Zambia, at Chilonga Mission Hospital. And I think at the age of about 3 to 4 years old, I moved to the Copper Belt, where my father was working in the mines. He was an accountant under ZCCM. So I grew up on the Copper Belt, and whilst on the Copper Belt, I think I was at Matete Primary School, a school in Nkana East. I think from 1992 to 1998, I did my grade 1 to grade 7 there. Then moved to another school in Nkana West, near the mines there. You find Mopani copper mines in that area. I think they have their smelter there. I was at Nkana Secondary School. That time it was a junior secondary school. Then moved on to Kito Boys High School, and I completed my grade 12 in 2003. From 2003, I moved on and did some short course at UNZA. I did purchasing and supply, so I do understand some procurement aspects. And then finally I went to NIPA, where I started off with my journey towards the study of law. Whilst at NIPA, I was actually studying or getting to do two things at a go. When I was studying for my diploma qualification, I was also studying for my degree. So I would write 2 exams every semester, one at NIPA and one at Zambian Open University. And I completed my education at NIPA in 2006. I got a diploma in law, but continued with my education at Zambian Open University and completed in 2011. So I went to the Zambia Institute of Advanced Legal Education in 2011. Studied there, and I was called to the bar, the Zambian bar, on the 22nd of February 2013. And my journey in the field of the practice of law started from there.
Ziale, renowned for students failing to cross over to pass. How did you manage on the first attempt to pass?
No, I didn't actually make it at first attempt. I made it at second sitting. So first attempt I got, I think I passed in about 6 subjects. We had 10 subjects then, and I was remaining with 4. At second sitting, I passed the 4, and I was called to the bar.
Your practice, we read about you defending these important clients in Zambia. Why law? Why did you choose law?
So I'll tell you, from a young age, I have always, taken a stance as regards injustices. I have never liked a situation where someone is perpetrating an injustice and I am watching it. I loathe that kind of life, and I always take it up on myself to speak to these things and speak about them, and at the same time also speak for those that would not have a voice necessarily. God gives us various talents, and God gives us various abilities, and I consider my practice of the law as a calling and not a job. So I am simply there to do that which God has given me to do within the space of my lifetime, and to do it to the best of my ability. And if my ability definitely would be something that would do something for someone, that is the gift I would want to give, and it would be a gift from God. But I'll tell you something interesting. I think when I left Kitwe Boys High School in 2003, I was actually head boy in that year. So in 2002, we had Christopher Kangombe, the current MP for Kamfinsa. He was head boy. And,
he was a year ahead of you.
Yes, he was a year ahead of me. After he left, he handed down to me the mantle of becoming head boy and leading the students in a particular direction. So in 2004, 05, somewhere there, I came to Lusaka. I had never been to Lusaka. I came here for the very first time. And when I arrived, my father followed later on to come and just check what was going on. So we went to Unza, and that time the dean, School of Humanities, was Professor Bizek Piri. So we found him in the office, and we had a discussion.
Yeah.
Now my father and Professor Bizek Piri had met somewhere in school in their good old days.
Yes.
And so we had a discussion, and what I remember prominent from that discussion was the position that Professor Bizek Piri took. He said, this guy can't be a lawyer.
Why did you think you couldn't be a lawyer?
I don't know.
Maybe thought you were best suited for business studies and the purchase and supply you were doing.
Well, I really don't know, but even when he said that,
yeah,
I took a position and I said, look, there's nothing else that I could do at that particular time in terms of study at UNZA apart from looking at the area of law. Of course, the recommendation was that I should get into the School of Education, but I didn't take that. I didn't go with it. And previously, I had gone to the Copperbelt University. I had put in an application for me to study electrical engineering. And even when I think I had been offered a place to study electrical engineering at CBU, but I never took it up. I never went there.
Your passion was law.
That is the direction I was looking at.
Yeah,
that is what I was thinking of. So I decided to take it up from a particular point, and that's how I started. I started off from there, and ran with it, up to this particular time. I think in 2016, I decided that I should major in some area of law, and I studied for the award of a Masters of Laws in Commercial and Corporate Law. So I hold a Masters in Commercial and Corporate Law from UNILAS. And later on, sometime in 2022, I did get into doing something else. Some recognition came from the Commonwealth University, who actually gave me a PhD in business administration. So I've got a qualification in that area.
Wow, wow, what good talent. Law plays a key role to the governance of our country, and it's not surprising that we see lawyers come and help guide the country, whether it's the issues of the Constitution, whether it's the issue of governance of our country, whether it's the issue of rule of law. What prompted you to begin to comment about these issues and helping shape up a public opinion?
So sometimes if you have it within you, you would not manage to keep quiet. Remember that the law is an instrument of social control. And there just has to be someone that should be able to speak up if everyone keeps quiet. I take it as a personal task for me to speak about certain things, certain injustices. I think when certain things that I would just see, those that have interacted with me will tell you that I will always say something about something that I perceive as wrong. I don't have the grace to keep quiet. So I will speak out.
Yeah. No, that's a nice one. But from the point of the law, issues of good governance, issues of human rights, the rule of law, what's the state of our country? And what do you think your association, the Law Association of Zambia, should play in this area?
Okay, I wouldn't speak for the association, but what I will say is that the Law Association of Zambia is a creature of statute. It is created by some piece of legislation known as the Law Association of Zambia Act. It's Chapter 31 of the Laws of Zambia. And under that Act, when you look at Section 4 of the Act, it creates a mandate for the Law Association of Zambia. One of the things is that Law Association of Zambia allows participation of lawyers in the society in which they live. Law Association of Zambia ensures that they've got participation in the development of the law. Law Association of Zambia ensures that certain aspects of appointment of lawyers and their qualifications are looked at. That is why you will notice that whenever you are appointing, for example, judges, the Law Association of Zambia will be called upon to say something about these people. These are judges, they are lawyers. So before a person becomes a judge, they are first of all a lawyer. Mm-hmm. So the Law Association of Zambia has contact with them. What is it that they have to say about these people? The Law Association of Zambia will assist even in the community where they live. For example, Law Association of Zambia will have clinics where they go and assist members of the public.
When you say clinics, people will think that you've gone with a stethoscope and with a medicine bag and with a first aid. Just speak to the clinics. What are those clinics?
So clinics are basically places where they sit to provide legal advice. So they will probably go into places like Kalingalinga. They would want to speak to the people in Kalingalinga, find out what problems they have and how they would want the Law Association of Zambia to assist. Legal advice is provided and all those things. And that is how come you realize that the Law Association of Zambia has got under it a project known as the National Legal Aid Clinic for Women. That is to speak for women and also assist the downtrodden in society. We also exist as LAS to ensure that legal services are available to people that cannot afford them at a commercial rate. So there's a close relationship or a closely knit relationship with places like Legal Aid Board and other people that provide legal services. I do also realize and acknowledge that we also have now a unit that deals with paralegal services. So paralegal services, you will be where people walk in and they will be given guidance on certain aspects of the law. And then from there, if there's need to escalate that will be escalated now to people that would actually craft documents and then move into court and assert the rights of these people. But all these things emanate from one aspect, the human rights aspect of Zambian citizens. Very important, and this is contained in Part 3 of our Constitution, where various rights of citizens are actually enshrined. Your right to property, your right to your liberty, and religion, conscience, assembly, association, and all sorts of rights.
Oh, wonderful. We saw concerns. I'll give an example. I think there was an election in Kenya and the new president said, look, we'll change the entire judiciary, and they asked all judges to apply. That hasn't happened in Zambia. Do you lawyers get concerned, for example, with the slow pace of reforms? For example, with the Zambia police, some happenings in the judiciary. I know you are part of the system, you are part of, you're literally officers of the court. But where do you think we get it wrong? What should we do right? Starting with the police and with the judiciary, and the end of it, prison services. Because I have, I've had the opportunity to be in those prisons, and they're totally inhuman. No human being should be kept like that. Just speak to these issues from the police, the judiciary, and prison, and what should be done.
So first of all, lawyers are officers of the court. You are right when you say that lawyers are part of the justice system in Zambia. And secondly, the Law Association of Zambia is an oversight institution. So we play an oversight role. What do I mean by that? So what I simply mean by that is that the Law Association of Zambia comes out and speaks out as regards particular aspects of what they may perceive as wrongs, abuses, or even commend those that are tasked with carrying out particular things where they do right. Now, the Law Association of Zambia is not a political party. The Law Association of Zambia is an association of lawyers, a creature of statute, performing an oversight function. Now, we may have instances where we have certain human rights aspects that may seem to be abused. Where we have an instance like that, the Law Association of Zambia does speak out. For example, not so long ago, I think last week, if not, yeah, it's last week actually, the Law Association of Zambia did issue a statement. The statement what they issued was as regards the conduct of the police. Every person in Zambia has got the right to associate, every person in Zambia has got the right to gather. But the current Inspector General of Police has taken a position. He has said no rallies for the opposition political parties. And the Law Association of Zambia was saying that's an infringement. You cannot do that. If you are going to do that, you will have a shrinking political space, a shrinking democratic space, and you will basically be abrogating the law. And they issued a statement to provide guidance on that aspect. Again, you will notice that I think we had a situation in this country where there was a debate. I think that should be during the tenure of State Counsel Abiudi Shonga Jr. as last president, where a debate ensued as regards what the words nullification and disqualification mean. And the Law Association of Zambia went to court. That is in the case of Law Association of Zambia versus Attorney General. And they dealt with those issues. They litigated. And the Constitutional Court pronounced itself on those matters and guided that a nullification does not mean a disqualification. And we go on like that. And there are many other cases where the Law Association of Zambia has gone to court. Again, the Law Association of Zambia does engage with various players and stakeholders in the governance space. They engage with the government, they engage with various other professional bodies, and in fact, one of the mandates, I think, under 4H, Section 4H of the Law Association of Zambia Act, is that they cooperate with other professional bodies, the Engineering Institute of Zambia, the estate agents, whatever, and many others. There are various other professional associations that the Law Association of Zambia will cooperate with. So insofar as the role of the Law Association of Zambia is concerned, and when it comes to human rights, we stand up and we speak against human rights violations, and where the human rights record is good, we commend those that administer the law insofar as it is concerned. Coming to aspects of the prisons, coming to aspects of the judiciary, I am an officer of the court. I wouldn't speak about the judiciary, but safe to say that we can do better. And we can endeavor to do better, because ultimately life is like a relay race. Those that are there have got a role to play, and once they are done, or once their time comes to an end, they'll have to pass it on to another generation, another group of people that will have to do their part as well. But as they are doing their part, they have to do the best that they can so that they pass on the best that they can. When we talk about the prisons, I have been to the prisons, I have clients in there, visited clients in there. We are not doing very well, but I know that the authorities that be are looking at that aspect, and definitely we expect that there must be an improvement.
Yeah, we have horrible prison conditions. Even our police cells are literally not habitable. I think every human rights report that's compiled annually, among the key issues always raised is the state of prisons and state of police cells, long detentions, extrajudicial killings and other matters. The state of prison and state of police cells never go away. And this is where we need your advocacy, you lawyers and the Law Association of Zambia.
So maybe let me also point out this. We have an interesting situation in this country. I think one time there's a judge in a case that spoke about the conduct of cases. You see, every other day the problem we have is that Zambia is degenerating into a place where people want to perpetrate vengeance, a place where people want to, do certain things that are not right. We have to be very mindful that our acts towards another person must be properly measured. There is nothing I owe you apart from love. And if I owe you love, I must be as cordial, as respectful, and as good as I can be, because I owe you that. In one case, the case of the people versus London Tembo, it's a 1999 case. One judge did make an indication. I think that should be Judge Nebot Mwanza. He indicated in that case that it is not every case that warrants that it should go and be dealt with by the police and finally go to court. This is because in our society we have people that we call sadists. They just enjoy seeing other people suffer. And we must desist from that, because at the end of the day, we are brothers and sisters. We are people of this country, and we are Zambians. This is our home. What we need to do is we need to treat each other with respect. Yes. You never know who is going to look after you tomorrow. I had an unfortunate incident one time. There's a gentleman that I used to know. I will not give you the name, but this gentleman was a very good friend of mine. He's late now, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. One time I was going home, and I passed through a place known as a Chelston Clinic. I found this gentleman admitted at Chelston Clinic and was very sick. So I noticed him from afar, and I went near, wanting to talk to him, but I couldn't engage with him because he was not able to respond. He was not able to talk to me. And when his wife walked in, I asked her, I said, "What's the problem with this gentleman?" And she explained to me. And I asked the nurse that was there, how best can we deal with this, this situation? And she told me, well, this person is very unwell. We are thinking of transferring him. But the problem that we have is that the ambulance that we use has gone somewhere. We had to arrange transport, moved the gentleman, and he went to Levi Mwanawasa Hospital. And we made sure that the gentleman was attended to. And I think a few months down the line, he was well. But 3-4 years down the line, of course, something else came, and he passed on. But look, we do some of these things not because we would want kudos, not because we would want a certain appreciation to come, but because we owe only love to our fellow brothers and sisters. And we must treat each other like that. We have degenerated to a place in this country where when you look at what is going on, you become so worried. And I'm looking at my young children, 5, 7 years old. I'm thinking, what sort of a country are we going to live for these people? What are they going to say about us? What are we saying about our forefathers? So we really need to be, very careful in terms of how we treat each other, because we might leave a country that you call in Bemba Ichibolia.
Correct. I think that has been the concern of many when we say the shrinking democratic space where people can't speak, can't gather, can't converse, can't exchange ideas. It's a matter of serious worry. If we hear issues of torture, it's a matter of serious worry. If we hear of injustice perpetrated sometimes by institutions that should bring justice, we worry. I have taken a few complaints, for example, to the Judicial Complaints Commission. One of them has been attended to, the other hasn't been to. I'm aware of colleagues that have taken complaints and they haven't been attended to. So while on paper, we have good mechanisms that the system must work. If, for example, the police misbehave, we have a complaints commission from the police that should deal with the police for their misbehavior. If judges misbehave or act unethically, we have, the Judicial Complaints Commission that deal with them. But you see that these institutions don't appear to work. What should we do?
Well, you see, one time I was told we need a very intelligent person to rule this country. We need a very astute person to rule this country. And I said, you don't need that. What you need is a person with a heart for the people, a person with love for the people. We must acknowledge that leadership is a privilege given by God. Once we begin to acknowledge that, we are going to be able to do everything in a selfless manner. Now, we've got people that are serving in these offices. If at all there is a problem and there's a feeling that these people are not attending to particular aspects, there's nothing that stops you, Ambassador, from approaching those people and indicating, I have this issue. I need help. Why isn't it moving? We need to begin to hold each other accountable. You see, I think it is high time in this country that we need to begin to have very honest conversations with each other. I always say that it is important in this country to have friends and colleagues that will be very candid with you. If you've got friends and colleagues that are always cheering and saying, yeah, well done and whatnot, those colleagues will never tell you the truth. You will be like an emperor that walked naked. You go to them without anything on you and say, how's my dress looking? And because they have fear for you, they'll simply say, oh, sir, you look very, eloquent and immaculate. But that is not what it is.
When you're actually naked.
Yes. So you need people that should be able to sit and say, this that you have done is wrong. This should be done in this way. And the moment you begin to build a hedge around yourself and you begin to occasion fear, you have a problem. So leading a people just requires a heart of love for the people. You don't need all these things of education, wealth, what, no. I'll give you an example of our first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. I have read about him in a number of books that he wrote, and even his book on humanism. Dr. Kaunda was a teacher, and probably a teacher that, if today was to appear in any school, I don't think he would be in the urban areas. He would be in the rural areas, teaching deep in the rural areas. But look at what Dr. Kaunda did for this country. He just had a heart for the people, a heart of love for the people. And he knew that the things that he was doing were meant to develop this country. Because at one point, they'll come and ask and say, what did you do with the power that you had at the time? I remember when I was young, there was ZCCM. And during the ZCCM time, they used to have a mine farm. Our father would take us in a Nissan 127 to the mine farm. We would go into particular shops. As senior staff, they had opportunity to go and get sportswear and whatnot, and we would go there. And those are the things, I do remember in the early 90s, before we got to 1991. We used to have a biker, someone, you know, on a bike, coming and dropping glasses of milk at every house, and eggs. And I was like, wow. At one point, I received, when the system was only just about feeding, free books from a school. You know, a heart for the people. That is what we need. All these things of this is what, this is, we don't need those things. We don't need to attack each other. We don't need to injure each other. We don't need to violate each other's rights. But we need to give each other and offer each other love. We'll build strong families, we'll build strong communities, and above all, we will build a very strong nation.
Wonderful. Let me briefly come to the association that you belong to, the Law Association of Zambia. You are having your annual conference. Is it the 11th, I think, annual conference that you've been hosting? And you've decided to take up leadership in some roles. Why do you want to go into leadership of the Law Association of Zambia?
Yeah. So first of all, I have not come into a place where I must take up leadership for the first time. I told you that while I started school, I was head boy there in 2003. At some point, I think in 2009, I actually led a group of people in a company where I was general manager, and I was leading, you know, a group of about 10, 15 people and superintending over their affairs. Going forward, I had an opportunity to be at the helm of running Makebi Zulu Advocates when my learned brother left and became a minister in 2016 to 2021. I was leading the association, the
law
entity,
firm.
the law firm. Now, when it comes to the Law Association of Zambia, I have told you that I am not a kind of person that would want to keep quiet about something. And if at all there's something that I can do, I do always step up and offer myself to do that. I remember in 2014 when I noticed that the relationship between junior lawyers, because I was a junior lawyer at that time, I think 1 year at the bar, the junior lawyers and senior lawyers was not very cordial. I moved a motion at the Law Association of Zambia General Conference to the effect that we must have a group known as the Junior Lawyers Committee. This Junior Lawyers Committee was then to interface and also integrate itself into the association by that interaction between senior lawyers and junior lawyers. At the same time, provide mentorship, at the same time, you know, just share experiences when it comes to the law. And that was to be a necessary of the future senior lawyers as well as future leaders of the association. In 2015, that committee came into being because the association, through that conference, did actually approve of it. And in 2015, I became the first convener of the Junior Lawyers Committee. And down the line, when I look at, you know, where we are coming from, I have noticed a need. One of the needs that I have noticed is that we need to build on the relationship between the bar and the bench. We don't want a situation where judges or magistrates and lawyers cannot see eye to eye. They cannot agree and have a cordial relationship. We need to do something about it. When I look at my colleagues that are in the leadership of the Law Association of Zambia, I have heard a few times they would go and sit with the judiciary, they will have a discussion, they have sat with various other players, they've had a discussion. I have not been satisfied with what they have come back with. I have said we need to do more. Secondly, you know, when you look at the association is predominantly young now, meaning that the future of the Law Association of Zambia is young. And if we sit back and say someone will take it up, then we might be doing an injustice to the association. The once vibrant Law Association of Zambia might disappear into oblivion. I don't want to see that. And in so doing, I realize that the association can create an opportunity for everyone. The association can be all-inclusive. The association today is sitting with over 4,000 lawyers, but the association has about 1,700 lawyers that are contributing towards subscription. We need to inquire into that state of affairs. Why is it that an association with over 4,000 lawyers only has 1,700 plus that are paying or contributing towards subscription? And subscription is the major source of income for the association. Why is it like that? It might be that the subscription payable is too high. And the bulk of those lawyers are junior lawyers. So probably maybe about 2,000 plus are unemployed. Why should we have a group of 2,000 plus lawyers unemployed? Have we gone into conducting an inquiry? Because this is our sample size. Let us analyze it. Why do we have this state of affairs? Have we created enough opportunity? Have we leveraged off our commercial and social networks as Law Association of Zambia? Today, the Law Association of Zambia does not even have interactions with places like the Engineering Institute of Zambia. We do not have interactions with, serious interactions with the Directors Institute. We don't have serious interactions with the Economic Association of Zambia. Of course, we could chat here and there, but we must have a working relationship because that is the base from which we are going to create opportunities for our lawyers. Just like those associations are going to create a base for their economists, their engineers, and the like. So we need to exploit those particular platforms, which we have not done. Out of the numbers that we have, we've got growing numbers as lawyers, but what have we done with those numbers? I mean, I would not sit and say we've got over 4,000 lawyers. I am happy that 1,000 plus are paying or contributing towards the subscription. No.
Why are so many staying away? Exactly.
And that problem would be because the subscription might be too high. Maybe they would be required to pay about 6,500. Now, here is a junior lawyer who is just a new entrant. Where will they get that money from? So we have to be considerate. We have to reduce that amount, and the number of them will contribute. We have to move. I did see a circular from the government where the government was saying that lawyers in government will not be able to contribute towards subscription. Now, we have to engage them and say, look, yes, they will not be able to contribute, but even as you talk about them not being able to contribute, we are an all-inclusive association. We would want to come up with a package just for lawyers in the government.
Yeah.
You know, and those are things that we need to exploit. I feel that there is a very strong edge within me to serve and make a contribution, not a contribution for myself, but for the association's benefit and for posterity to judge us very well. So if I have that edge, I am simply one that would not say I am going in and serve, but I will say to the membership, I am offering myself as one that would want to serve in the association. And ultimately, LAS is bigger than all of us. It is the association that would decide through its membership whether they would want to give me that opportunity and chance or not.
No, we have to wish you luck, and we hope that you succeed and that your colleagues and peers elect you like they should pick some of the good candidates. But for me, you know, you are like doctors. You occupy a very special place, and I'm glad that there have been recent events where the Law Association of Zambia has joined hands with NGOCC, with Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, with the Council of Churches in Zambia, and with the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops. Together, they've revived the Oasis Forum. I hope that we can have a voice which stems the tide against democracy, the tide that is going towards dictatorship, the tide that is ignoring the law. You know, there are things like the recent debate over Mopani, where the government and Attorney General says, no, we didn't need to go to Parliament. We didn't need to literally they've disregarded the constitutional provision. And this is where I see your role as lawyers, if you keep away from the debate, we are mere laymen. I can't preach to people about the Constitution. You colleagues can preach about the rule of law and the Constitution. So you ought to speak. You ought to speak.
I do agree with you. Indeed, the Law Association of Zambia ought to speak. But sometimes, I told you that the Law Association of Zambia is not a political party. The Law Association of Zambia is a creature of statute and an association of lawyers. If at any point there's a feeling that there's something that the Law Association of Zambia should comment on, there is nothing that prevents a citizen from walking to number 1 Lagos Road, which is our secretariat, and lodging a request or a complaint of some sort and inviting the association to comment on those issues. Matters of governance, matters of human rights, matters of the law sit at the heart of the Law Association of Zambia. That is why we exist. And we are always available as Law Association of Zambia to provide guidance. I am happy and pleased to belong to an association like the Law Association of Zambia because our mandate is one that is noble. Our mandate is one that is for the benefit of the society in which we live. Largely, our mandate is for the benefit of Zambians.
Lawyer to population ratio, I think we have very, very few lawyers in our country. We have a lot of people that remain unrepresented because maybe they cannot afford the fees and the lawyers are very few. I think even institutions like Legal Aid can't cope with the kind of population seeking justice. Every time I walk to those court premises, I see long and long queues, for example, of our people at those small claims court trying to seek justice. And you know that the small claims court deals with very little amounts of money. And our people are trying to get justice. And I see those queues, I see that they are overwhelmed. When I served in rural areas, again, that was the issue, that our people can't access justice. In the past, there used to be a traditional system where chiefs had some form of traditional courts that would somehow complement with the professional judiciary. And we need our people to access justice. And when I see not laws, but when you are getting your professional practice and maybe out of 300, 400 student lawyers that have sat, then maybe 90% are flunked, I get worried. Our people need representation. We need to have many, many lawyers, I think, affording our people justice.
I do agree with you that we need to have many lawyers. Now, I did tell you that, the question of lawyer-client relationship and the question of the ratio of citizens and lawyers may be a question that should be subjected to some research. I don't think we have carried out any research in that area to ascertain where we are. If you ask me, the legal practitioner's qualifying or qualification examination is a professional examination. It's like an examination administered to doctors for them to practice. Would you rather that you get doctors that are qualified or passed through that bar or that particular exam for expediency because there's a need for more doctors on the market as opposed to them being qualified properly? Because there will be a danger to the society that you go and unleash them into. It is an area of concern, but we can never compromise on quality. Once lawyers pass through the bar exam, it's a professional exam. They must demonstrate competence. If there's a failure here and there, there's always a chance for them to get back. and be able to qualify. For us to have 4,000 plus lawyers, they have been qualifying the numbers. Sometimes we've had 300, 200 lawyers being admitted in a single shoot. That is commendable. We may also want to look at the training system. Speaking from the academic point of view, we may need to look at what does our syllabus teach. Does it follow the growing trends? There are various law schools now. You see, when you look at what used to happen way back, we probably, we realized that we just had one school that was offering law. That is the University of Zambia. The University of Zambia was the only institution from the 1970s going up to about...
until recently.
2000 something. Now we've got plenty of them. Then we've got the Higher Education Institute and all those things. What monitoring are we doing when it comes to the qualifications that are coming from there? The problem might arise from the fact that there is inadequacy in terms of the teaching that is being given. And even now you notice that every person is saying they want to be a lawyer and they're going to study law. The demand for this product is increasing. But do they have the requisite acumen? Do they have the requisite ability? Do they have the requisite, drive to get into that area? All these are aspects that we need to consider. When you are looking at academia must be able to equip. That is why one of the roles of or the mandates that the Law Association of Zambia is given under Section 4 is to look at the education of lawyers. How should lawyers be educated? Now, one of the things I'm talking about, even in my manifesto, is that there is need for us as Law Association of Zambia, in the event that I have the rare privilege of taking up office as Honorary Treasurer in the coming elections, to move a step further. What do? We will go into these schools, and we are going to have that moot court competition become a big thing, because we need to promote advocacy. Lawyering is mostly about advocacy. There are lawyers that appear in court, there are lawyers that are on the desk, but for those that appear in court and have a desire to go into, we need to hone their skill of being able to argue and present arguments of quality, not just any argument, but the argument must have quality, and the argument must speak to the law.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Honorable Jonas Zimba, as we come to the end of the program, what are your last words, and what do you wish for LAS?
So, thank you very much. My wish for LAS is that LAS must continue to exist, LAS must continue to be relevant, and LAS must be able to exist for the benefit of the community that we live in and the country at large. I want cordial relationships between those that govern and the Law Association of Zambia. I want to see a situation where the Law Association of Zambia will play an integral role in the development of young lawyers that are starting up, as well as also galvanize and put together the various institutions that provide governance in this country. Professional bodies, I would want to see these people get together and begin to move in a particular direction for the good of this country. Apart from that, I would want to see, a cordial relationship between judges and lawyers. I was taught something by a state counsel in Chimanchita one time when he said, you see, young man, when we were growing up, and at that time we had our offices on Cairo Road. Mm-hmm. You could walk from Cairo Road straight to court and knock at the judge's chambers. And when you get in there, you say, Judge, how are you? I am stuck. I need to consult. And the judge will say, no. Is that the issue you've brought? It's simple. Let's look at this. This is the law. And the judge will be able to provide some guidance. Today, you can't do that. I do remember that when we had Judge Chitabo, now late, he would provide such guidance. But I don't, you see, I don't know if at all you can still get it now. High court level, I mean, if you walked in, people would say, no, but what does he want? Why does he want to have it? Look, we are lawyers, and we are part of the judicial system. We should have a cordial relationship. I look forward to a time when lawyers, judges, magistrates will be able to sit and say, listen, let's discuss. What is it that you judges think we are doing wrong? What is it that you magistrates think we are doing wrong? Lawyers, what do you think judges and magistrates are doing wrong? Let's agree, how do we proceed and live in unity and live together and coexist in this particular space? Those are things that we need to begin to talk about and begin to iron out and straighten out our relationships. Above all, I am looking forward to a time when I would be given an opportunity to serve in LAS. And if I have that opportunity to serve in LAS for the good of the association, I will do everything possible to ensure that the Council of the Law Association of Zambia that will be in place that time will be able to do the good that they have to do for the members, for society, and also create relationships that will be able to grow the association. Simply put, on the 27th of April, 2024, we'll be having our annual general conference, and there we are going to be having our elections. I am appealing to members of the association to vote for me as their honorary treasurer for purposes of ensuring that we have new ideas that will come into the association, for purposes that we ensure that we have new strategies that will employ in the association and also grow the wealth of the association. I am a people person, and people persons are money people. We look after money, we grow money.
Wonderful. In fact, that brings me to the last question before I close, which is your mentor. Who has mentored you? Who do you admire? Who do you draw inspiration from?
So I draw great inspiration from very good men like State Counsel Eric Silwamba. He's an exceptional man. I have sat with him many times and I have picked many leaves, not one leaf. I also draw great inspiration from people like State Counsel Simeza. When you look at State Counsel Simeza, I think his level of understanding of the law is amazing. And, you know, even when you look at the things that he does, the way he carries himself, I want to be a State Counsel Simeza one day.
Why not? Let your work speak for you. Because when your work speak for you, I think the awards and honors just will be given to you. No, good to hear, and thanks to Honorable Eric Silwamba and Honorable Robert Simeza that have provided inspiration to you and other young lawyers. Dear viewers, we've come to the end of the program. It was a special program. I thought that we could get one of the lawyers, those lawyers that are going to General Conference next week. If there is any other that wishes to come and sit with me, let's come and discuss. Law Association of Zambia, I think, has a special place in our country, and we should get interest in the men and women, you know, taking up position in that area because they provide guidance. To Mr. Jonas Zimba from Makebi Zulu Advocates, would like to thank you for the opportunity you gave us for stepping away from your very busy schedule and coming to sit with us. Thank you very much.
Most grateful, and you're welcome.
And to you, our dear viewers, God bless you. God bless our country. Until next time, shalom, shalom.
Audio Jungle.